guys,
Hi.
it's Brigitte here, and today I am sitting here with Lorna Hunte.
Thanks.
Hi. Now, Lorna is a medium, a healer, a shaman, and a teacher, and you actually heal by working with the animal kingdom,
Yes.
the elementals,
Yes.
which are the fairies,
Mm-hmm.
and the plants,
Yes.
which is very unique.
Mm-hmm.
Now, being a shaman, I mean, what does that entail?
Just you work with the spirit of nature,
Mm-hmm.
and the spirit of nature in all its forms.
Yeah.
So it comes from the plants, the animals, the insects, the different kingdoms from like the unicorns, as you know, as well as the sea. But also, it's just about just working with the spirit of everything. So you could be the spirit. I could be working with the tree, might come in and help. But it's whatever the person needs is what they get.
Right. Now, working with the plants and the animals and the elementals. So when you heal somebody, how does that work exactly?
Well, actually, I'm a channel, so I
Yes.
channel energy.
Yes.
And that's my first sort of where I come from. And then what then happens is what I ask for, what it was for the greatest need for that person, and then something will come through. So sometimes I just stand and just channel the energy, and the energy just flows on through, and will unblock any blockages that needs to be there, or just give energy, relaxing, and things like that. Because it's mind, body, spirit, and emotions.
Yeah.
So it can be anything for that person. So they may come with maybe a pain, but actually it's actually an emotional pain. So they may end up crying instead, you know. And again, that's fine because that's about releasing.
Yeah.
About releasing everything else. But really, I just expect people just to relax and then let the energy flow through. If something else comes through to help, then that's fine. And especially the angelic realms.
Yeah.
Is another way that I really work as well.
Because I just, you gave me a healing, and I just felt the energy really expanding. It was like an elastic band.
Yes, it was, yes.
And, when you put your hands on me and you moved, or, at a certain point I was completely lost because I still thought hands were here, and you'd already moved, and like something kept brushing past my heart chakra continuously.
Yes. Yeah. It's rather like you can call it almost like psychic surgery, but not psychic surgery. In fact, is that the other people come in and help.
Yeah.
So sometimes it might be friends and loved ones that actually will come through and help you. Another time it actually might be somebody who that's the way they work. So they'll come in and help that. I have had somebody who came in for a sports injury, and I had my two shamans debating as to how they were going to heal this leg. And, but he felt the energies. Sometimes I can see things and sometimes I don't. But that was what was there. But they felt the energy, and that was good for them.
And so what happened to the person with the sports injury?
They actually just wrapped it in leaves and whatever shamanic stuff they were doing. They did that, wrapped it in leaves, and then he had to come back again, and then they unwrapped it again and redid it again. So so that's how they were doing the healing, and he felt the healing. Oh yes, yeah. He felt it. But sometimes it's a bit difficult to say who's doing the work.
Yes.
So I just tend to just allow it to go through and just have the energy and let people tell me what they feel.
Yeah.
It's much easier that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then as I said to you, I also felt like a Native American Indian standing at the back of me, smudging me.
Yeah.
And I was like, but Lorna's not standing there.
Yeah.
So it's very deep. It's very different. I know this is, I've done Reiki myself.
Yes.
But this is different.
Yes, it is. It is because I've done Reiki.
Yes.
But my main one is Angelic Reiki.
Yeah.
Angelic Reiki opened me up to all the animals, all the elements, and galactic as well.
Oh, the galactic. Yeah.
Galactic energies. So that's why I don't debate. I just say the energy's coming through, and that was what, as I said, I just let the energy come through, and you felt what you felt. And it's lovely when I get the feedback.
Yes. But when you talk about the galactics, are you talking about Ashtar? Are you talking about the Pleiadians or?
Yes, from that, Acadians, Orions. There's so many different things out there, and it's cosmic energy. And you get Akashic records because it's about knowledge as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
The Akashic records, the whole of learning.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
So, and so all the healing knowledge is, don't forget, natural healing has been here forever.
Oh, since the beginning of time.
Yeah, forever. Each country, each culture will have their own way of healing with the elements or with plants in nature. Yes. You'll have your herbalists. You'll have, so it's always been there. It's just different in different regions because you have different plants, you have different animals, and things like that. So yeah, it's just different. Yeah. And
so, when did you actually first realize that you had an ability? Because I know you've been teaching since 1999.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've been teaching about 6 years after that. I was going towards the university to teach some students in social work, and I was early, so I stopped off in the place I don't normally stop off onto, which is called Egham. And I went to go to the bank, and as I was walking down the place, I saw this shop, and it had all these sparkly things and books. I thought, oh, I've never seen a shop like that. I'll go back in. So I went into the shop, and I thought, oh, don't like that. And then I saw this book called Your Healing Hands, and I bought it, and it just happened from there. Within, I think, a month, I was talking to a colleague about healing, because we were doing a group exercise.
Right.
And then she said, oh, no, I've had healing. She said, I had a bad knee, and I went to somebody who had put their hands on me, and my knee was better. And she said, you should do it. So next thing I know, she threw a leaflet on my desk, and about 2 weeks later, and said, to go to the Mind, Body and Spirit Festival, which was in Victoria. Go to that, she said. So I grabbed another friend. We went round there. We went to the all day. Yeah. And I said, oh, don't like that. Then I saw this lovely one, which is called you just put your hands on somebody, around somebody, and they just allow the energy to go through. Right. There was no manipulating, no anything like that. And that was the National Federation of Spiritual Healers, which is now called the NFSH Healing Trust. Right. So I started with them. Yeah. Still with them actually. I run one of the centres, the charity. Right. Yeah. And I learnt with them, and things developed from that really. And my mediumship developed about maybe 5-6 years after that, when people kept saying to me, you need to listen to your guides. And I said, but I can't hear them. So I went to the SAGB, and they ran open circles, and I've been there years before just to get readings. So I joined their open circle to try and help me to hear my guides and spirits. And I still can't hear.
But you work with the plants, the elementals, and the animal kingdom.
Yeah.
So
I know what it was is my perception is I wanted to hear like we're talking here.
Right.
All right. That's my assumption of what hearing was. But now I know it's not about that. No. It's about I sense. Words will be put into my head, or images might be put into my head, so that I then understand what's going on. And sometimes, but a lot of it's telepathy. They'll put things into my head so I understand what they're saying to me.
So the way you interpret messages, so that's through claircognizance,
yes,
feeling,
yes,
clairsentience, the knowing,
yes,
and clairvoyance.
Yeah, yeah. All right, yeah. So that's the other way. Yeah, that's the way around it is.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, it's So I am basically a clairsentient. Yeah. I sense. I am a little bit empathic. And I am clear knowing, so I'll just say something. I have no idea why I've said it, and people say, "How did you know that?" And I went, "I don't know." All right, it just comes out. I'm also a trance medium, and I'm also a trance healer.
So what happens when you, well, what is a trance medium? What do you do?
Right, okay. To work in trance is like you allow the spirit of the person to work through you, with you, or for you.
Right.
All right, so you're not, so they can take over. I'm not at the level of being able to do the voice of the person, but I do work in a semi-trance state.
Yeah.
It helps me in my communication with the spirit world. When I was first taught and said I was able to do trance mediumship, I said, yeah, but I want to know what you're talking about, you know. So I had this debate with my spiritual realm, and I said to them, I want to stay conscious. So instead of going down levels, which is what most trance people go down, 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 and then they come in at that level, I go that way. I go sideways. So I go sideways. So I'm very much aware. Somebody will ask me a question, I'll think, how am I going to answer that? And then my mouth opens and I answer it. But that's the trust we've got at the moment. I mean, there's times when I think I've been on the moon, or way up in the atmosphere, and I can see myself like that. So that's how far they've moved me out of the way.
Yeah.
You know? But yes, we've got to a level now that I'm comfortable, and I just allow them to work, and they come through me, and that's it. If it's just the energy, I just link into the energy, and just allow that, and I channel that to come through.
Which is beautiful, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's so broad. I mean, you bring in everyone.
Sometimes I have to smile because I think, oh, you know, what's that animal doing? You know, and then just trust that they're here for a reason, for that person, and that they're there for, you know, to deal with the healing. Just like the wolf today, you know, is coming out. I thought, well, what are you doing? You're just sniffing around, and then you just sat down. It's almost like he was making sure I was doing my job. And again, that's fine, because sometimes that's what they do.
Yeah, and you also had the octopus coming in.
Yeah. Oh, yes. My octopus, he's a healer, a medium, and my guide. Yeah. And normally, if he's coming in to help with healing, it's normally to help that person with their spiritual needs, and he also repairs auras. So if there's any holes in them, or they need rebalancing from a different perspective, then he deals with that and things like that. So that was lovely.
What colour is he?
He's a grey. Well, actually, he changes colour.
Okay.
Because that's what they do. They can camouflage. But he's normally a sort of a greeny black.
Okay.
Is the sort of colour that he's normally. But he can change colour. So
now, when you first started, how did people around you perceive what you did?
Wow. Now that was interesting, because when I was one lady once said to me, "I can't come near you again." I said, "Why?" She said, "You're too hot." And she said, "I'm burning up," and at that time I'm just learning, so I'm thinking, "What am I doing?" She just felt the heat from my hands, which was really, really hot. Some people feel just nice, gentle energy. Some people can feel really hot. Yeah. Some people feel cold. Yeah. Some people feel the cold. Coolness, I now know, is my angelic healing.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, because the angel energy is quite cool. It can be quite cold actually, but I always tell them to warm it up. So they do that. So people told me aches and pains have gone. But sometimes it's been a long-term thing where somebody's actually in therapy. So I'm complimentary and helping that person to stay in therapy. So while I'm doing the spiritual side, then she's doing the talking side with somebody else. So I work with medicine.
Going back to the elementals, I love them. I love fairies and pixies and trolls and mermaids. Have you come across them when you've just been walking, or because they're in the garden?
Yes.
And I'll tell you something funny though. Because as you know, I lived in Florida, and I built at the 2 houses that I had. I built the gardens from scratch. Yeah. So I pulled out all the weeds, everything. And I planted all the plants and the flowers. And as I put them into the earth, I talked to them. Yes. And my ex always used to say, "You're crazy. Why are you talking to plants?" I'm like, because you know what? They can hear me. Yes. And I always thought it was important to keep the garden neat and tidy. And then I always thought, well, maybe the fairies will come, but I never saw them.
Yes, I do. I don't always tell the people that because they might think
They might think you're with the fairies.
Yes, exactly. But no, they do come in and help. I have a small team of fairies. If they come through while I'm healing and I can see them, they're normally to do with the flora in the body and normally the flora in the stomach. So as you know, if our flora is not balanced, then that can cause all sorts of things within our stomach. So I do have a little team. They come in and they help that to grow. So you don't need to take tablets or anything. They'll help that to grow and make you feel better. Yes, if I'm out walking, yes, I do see them. I had a lovely experience in Ireland where a friend's husband of mine does not believe in what I do.
Right.
However, he took me across a couple of fields and he said, now this place I cannot and I'm not allowed to cut down. And I said, why? He said, it's just folklore. And it's where the fairies are supposed to be. So he said yes. So he said, but I was thinking of planting, a couple of red ferns. And I said, yeah, that's good. Unfortunately, I couldn't tell him that I could see through the thicket and I saw a little village. And I actually saw the fairies and trolls, which I thought were massive, but they weren't. They were only about sort of a little high, about 3 foot high. And I thought, oh, and they're all living happily together. And I thought, Anyway, as we were walking about, as he had said about the red ferns, they were jumping up with joy and saying, yes, yes, yes. So I walked back a little bit down the hill and I went to him, I think it's a very good idea. But they told me, yes, please, please, please. Yeah. So, but also that would be more protection for them.
Yeah. Now, with talking to trees and talking to plants, I know I'm not crazy.
Yes.
Because plants, when you talk to plants, they grow better. When you take care of them, of course they grow better. But often enough, when I was in my garden or I needed to go, I would sometimes hear them scream, please water us before you go. So, oh my God, I'll water them. Yeah. And then I would go. Yeah.
It's important, because I do it.
I'm not the only one.
No. If I want to go and I give my garden a haircut because it goes out of shape and so it needs to be tidied up. Yeah. So, but before I do that, I will always ask, can I come out and cut and cut back? And if they say no, I don't do it. And then all of a sudden they'll suddenly say it's okay, you can come and cut us back now. The thing is that with plants, what we don't understand is that if you just suddenly go out and just cut down a plant, whatever elementals or energies in that plant, you haven't allowed them to move on. Right. So it's like somebody coming to your house and bulldozing your house while you're still in it. Yeah. You wouldn't like it. No. So sometimes it's nice to just warn them to say, this is what's going to happen. And then the elementals, you give the elementals time to move on. Right. They have a purpose. They need to help plants grow and in them helping the plants to grow, they help us to survive, which is really important, because we are symbiotic with each other. What we use, they take, and what they give, we use. And people don't always remember that.
No. So what? Now, when we talk about vegetables and fruits, now this is energy as well. I know they don't have souls, but they're living things.
Yes.
What I read is that vegetables and fruits, they feel honored that they've been chosen and that we eat them.
This is the way of shaman and working with nature, because we have to be in the circle of life. Yes. We have to survive. Each different species has to survive in their own way. Yes. So yes, that's the whole point of it all. So that's why when they say certain animals we always seem to be using certain animals, they've already made that agreement that they will be there, to feed us, clothe us. It's just like the Lakota would have that relationship with the buffalo. Yes. Because that buffalo, without the buffalo, they couldn't survive. No. And vice versa. Yeah. So it's just really important. People just don't understand nature sometimes, or dismiss it because we are too much into the material things. We've lost our instinct. We don't have to go and hunt. We don't have to go for miles of water. No. We just decide, if you want something to eat, well, shall I have a Big Mac? Shall I have a 2 meat, 2 veg? Where an animal thinks, I need food, I just go and get it.
Mm-hmm.
I need food now, and that's it. You know, they don't have to have those big choices.
No.
And that's why animals have got such capacity to just love, because they don't need to distinguish all the different levels of love.
No, they don't.
Because they work on a different survival instinct, which unfortunately we've lost a lot of.
Now I'm sidetracking a little bit. There's a funny story because we're talking about animals,
Yeah.
which I happened to read. And there was this couple, and they kept calling their cat fat. You're a fat cat. You're a fat cat. So when visitors started coming around, because he heard that he was a fat cat, he chose to hide under the table and not come out because his owners had said he was fat.
Yes, yes.
They can hear us.
They hear and understand. This is the whole point. How many people actually talk to their animals?
I do.
Right, yeah. And then some people says, no, I don't. And then, you know, I'll give you this example. My husband, he says, I don't talk to the cats. And I said, well, how do you know when they want to go out the door? I noticed you open the door for them. Let them in and let them out.
Yeah.
And they're meowing at you.
Yeah.
You know, and I heard you answer them back. He went, But, you know, again, sometimes we take it for granted that they don't understand. They understand us an awful lot. And especially cats, you know, people say, oh, you can't tame a cat. But you can talk to them, you know, and they will understand what you mean. And if you don't want them to go somewhere, in the house, of course, they'll know. You know, they'll know by one word, one look, and then they go, okay, back. They're fascinating. They're fascinating.
Yeah. Of course, animals have souls.
Yes. Oh, they do. All right, yeah. When I had to have my 2 cats put down, their brother came and picked them up. And because both of them died in my arms, because they had to be put down. And I made the mistake. The head vet knew that what I did, and I'd forgotten. And this other vet, and I just said, "Oh, the brother came." He said, "Oh, you must be quite sad." So I said, "No, it's fine." I said, "Her brother came to pick her up," and he went, "What?" And I thought, "Oops." Again, you're thinking, "Oh, this woman's nuts," but you know, it was just my natural. I was okay with it, and I think that's the other thing is that in this work, what I'm okay with, a lot of people aren't, right? Because we can see something or feel or sense something other people can't. And that can be quite sad, because then they assume that you're not well.
But this is who you are. This, you know, this is what you do. And it's about remembering who you are and honing in on your abilities.
Yes.
You know, is it really so important just to have a 9-to-5 job, the rat race of life? Isn't that just, you know, pure existence?
Yeah. Again, that's a different point of view, but it is, because you're driven then by want.
Yes.
You're not driven by need. Yeah, which is why if you work with nature, you're working with need, right? You know, I need to eat something, I need to drink something, I need a bit of shelter. Yeah, I need to make sure that we know make sure my kids are their nest. You know, the birds need to make sure there's a nest for my kids. Yeah. You know, that's it. Once that job's done, they don't need that nest.
No, that's right.
Yeah, they're gone. So it's working with your nature, working with your times, working actually with the seasons. We don't work with the seasons now. We used to be able to say, right, fruit is, I don't know, strawberries are only this time of year, that's it. Now you can get strawberries all the way through, but do they taste as nice?
No.
Exactly, because we are forcing them to live, to work outside their natural zone. Right, whereas you allow that, you know, to grow, rest, and ripen in its own time. When you eat that fruit, it's lovely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's we force things to grow. If you look at our gardens now, I have roses now that flower all the way through. It could be freezing cold, snow, and I've still got flowers. So the plants don't seem to know what's going on. It's very difficult, but I love what I do. I love the combination of what I'm doing, and it's just fascinating to me. I know I'm still growing. I know I'm still learning.
Oh, we all are.
And that's why I love sort of doing my like support groups, because I learn from people as I'm teaching. The courses do the same thing, but it's not as better with the support groups.
Now you also do drum sessions, don't you?
Yes.
Drum healing.
Yeah. That is my other area that I love doing.
What happens?
Well, basically, you can sit or lay down.
Yep.
And I will just drum. Now, my drum will, how can I say, it tells me what's wrong. It tells me what area is wrong.
Yeah.
And it will also tell me where I need to, it just changes beat. My hand's not changing the beat, but I'll hear the change, and I'll stay there and drum. And it's the vibration of the drum that works, and that uses the energy of the vibration to help you.
And how do people feel afterwards?
Quite sleepy, quite relaxed. People sometimes do feel things shifting as well. I did a drum healing at a church that I go to, and there's only a few people there, and I was asked, well, you got your drum with you, do something different. So I asked their permission first, because there's some people that may not like drumming. They all agreed. So I said to them, I've been told I need to give you an animal each, so please remember it, because I won't. So I gave them all an animal, and I said, all I need you to do at this point in time is think about the animal and think about a place that you'd like to be in. And I will drum for 10 minutes. That's all I want you to do, nothing more. And I drummed for 10 minutes, and I walked up and down. Then I asked them what happened, and two people who never even meditated before, one lady said, I've been asleep. And I said, yes, you were. All right. But they went really quite quickly. Once you listen to the beat of the drum, it can take you into a much deeper sense of meditation and peace. And then two other people said, but you were drumming and there was someone's hands on my shoulder. And another lady said, and someone's hand was on my back. So the intention for me to give them healing was done again, like on here today. Yeah. My helpers came in and helped them to do the healing. It's what they needed at that time. So if they needed healing, if they needed just to relax, because a guy who didn't know, he said, I don't sleep well. All right, so for me to just go into sleep, into just relax like that, for him that was good.
Yeah, and the healing goes where it needs to go.
Exactly. That's why I like the method that I do. I just like the energy to go where it needs to go. Yeah. I don't need to know what's wrong with you, because the energies will know. Yeah. So if it's an emotional issue, you'll feel that. Yeah. If it's physical as well, sometimes it may take more time, but yeah, you'll feel things shifting.
Now, how does one talk to plants?
Sometimes it's useful if you know who you are. And that is whether you can sense energy, see it, hear it, taste, smell, or know. Now that's all the clairaudiences. Yes. Yeah. Some people have it naturally, they've had it all their lives, and they just do it normally. Sometimes it's, how can I say it? It's difficult, because I do it in so many different ways. I can put my hand on the plant and just feel the energy of the plant, and they can talk to me that way. You know, I'll just, and they'll tell me, like we did this exercise at one of my groups, and we were at someone's garden, and I had my hand on this plant, and with our eyes closed, we weren't allowed to see what it was, but the plant was telling me, I need to be out of here, I need to be in the earth, not in the pot. Aww. And when I finished, the lady said, yeah, I've been meaning to put it out in the garden.
So she listened though, but she hadn't done it yet.
Yeah, she hadn't done it. So when I said to her what the plant said, she said, no, I've been meaning to do it. She's done it now. But the plant was telling me, like you said, I need to not be in the pot now, I need to be outside.
Yeah. There is a book which Talk to Trees by Leslie Carbarga, I think it's called, where there are stories where people talk to plants, to trees, to fruits and to vegetables.
Yeah, it's like when people say they turn vegetarian because they don't want to harm animals. But unfortunately, because plants do sense, they are hurting them. People just need to understand that no matter what we do, we will always hurt something. But this is where we bring in the thankful and being grateful to that plant for giving us their essence, their life. to feed ourselves. And that's what working with nature is.
Just going back to animals. So if animals or pets, they progress to the spirit world, how do they progress from there on?
Oh, no, I don't know that question. I really don't know. I know they're there and they're always in spirit. I don't know how they progress. I don't even know how spirit world progresses. I know that, for example, my husband, who's in spirit, I know he went off to do work. What that work is, I have not a clue.
No.
It's like that is a world that they keep separate. I suppose too much knowledge sometimes is not good. And some people would worry and be scared if they knew what was going on. Or some people would say, oh, I like that. I don't want to be here. And I want to be over there when it's not their time.
No, that's right.
Yeah, to know what they do after that. But they're still here and around. I saw a picture of my daughter when she went fishing with a friend.
Yeah.
And when I looked at the picture, I went, oh, when a picture goes a bit fuzzy, I normally know there's spirit in the picture. If it's completely crystal clear, you normally can't see anything else. Well, that's with me. And I looked in there and I saw my husband, I saw my dog, and I saw numerous cats. And they were all watching her, looking out for her. Yeah.
That's so nice.
And it was in the picture. And so when you expand it, you could see them. So
that's wonderful.
It was wonderful. So from that, I know that's proof for me that they're still there, still around her, still look after her.
How can fairies, animals, and plants help us in our everyday lives?
They do. What we have to do is acknowledge them and work with them.
Yeah.
They are here all the time. They're here growing the flowers, making sure they're okay, making sure the earth's all right. Whatever the colours come in, that's their job. Yeah, and that's the elemental. Then it's like the elements as well are there to help with that. If everything was in harmony, then you'd get the right amount of sun, rain, and everything grows lovely. Of course, if that goes out of sync and you have a hurricane or tornado, or it suddenly goes freezing when it's not supposed to, or you have too much rain, everything goes out of sync.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's why it's such a difficult life for the farmers, because they have to judge all of that, to make sure that they get their crops in at the right time.
Yeah, they are aware, but it's like us,
No.
We should become more aware.
I can't see us doing that because of the technology. Right. However, there is a growing trend for people who don't want to keep going that way, and they're actually moving towards, mediumship healing, nature, and other things, and other healing energies, because they realise that what they've got is not enough, and it's not really sustaining us, because we're becoming hooked into the culture.
Yeah.
We're hooked into the TV, the phones, everything, electrical. So we are very, very reliant now on technology, power, like gas and electricity. Unfortunately, the only way that we would really accept all that is if suddenly we had nothing. Yeah. We had nothing like that, and it would force people then to go back to, well, actually, if I want the potato, I better go and grow it.
Now you're also going to do Spirit Seeker next year, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
So are you going to give healing there?
I'm not, actually. I'm going to be doing readings. So.
But that's still doing readings with the plants.
Yes. Because my readings is basically blending the spirit of animals, plants, and nature to the spirit world. So they'll come and tell me the message for you, and then I may or may not get the communicator, which is maybe your loved one. Right. So that person may come through or may not. But I'm working on that side. I've always been drawn to be working differently. And
you should always hone in on
your
gifts.
Differently.
Always.
So I'm not the norm in the sense of how I operate within mediumship.
Do you also teach workshops, give workshops?
I do. I teach Angelic Reiki, the mirror and crystal healing, and animal Reiki. And those are the three that I do at the moment. And I also run support groups, monthly support groups, because I feel that once you teach people something, they need somewhere that they can come along, discuss what what they're going through, how are they developing within themselves, not necessarily the method. So my groups are open to everybody, any type of healer or therapist, and we just look at, you know, how you're developing, what your worries are, and within those sessions, though, we'll have a short meditation. We will have a discussion on whatever they want to discuss. If they don't, I'm normally given something for them to talk about. And then we'll do what we call a healing exchange.
And where do you give these?
In Addiscombe, Waterloo, Wimbledon and Red Hill. So they're monthly groups in different areas.
So if you teach Angelic Reiki, that's of course working with the angels, the angelic energy.
Yeah.
What about the Lemurian?
Right. The Lemurians crystal has drawn me in. It's actually, I was looking for a crystal course, but not in depth because my brain doesn't do all that. So I was attracted to this Lemurian crystal, and from that I did the attunements. And from that, it's amazing how much linked in it is with everything. Lemurian crystal comes from Lemuria, and Lemurians were before the Atlanteans.
Yes.
So although they sunk and Atlanteans sunk, but all their knowledge was put into the crystals, and all the knowledge of the crystals were put all around the globe. But since doing that, I've also found out, because I also do the shamanic work and go to a monthly workshop of drumming. I went to a talk from a Lakota person who came over to talk, and in one of his talks he went, you do realise that we're from the Pleiades? And I went, oh, because the Lemurians come from the Pleiades. So everything, and also the heads on Easter Island are also linked. So it's quite amazing that it made sense now why I was being drawn into so many different things, but also why particularly I had to go to a Lakota shaman, because that was the link. And also I have a guide who I've had since even doing my ordinary Reiki, called White Buffalo Carve Woman, and she's there.
I've heard of her.
Yeah, and so everything seemed for me has linked back into the one.
So the Lemurian crystal healing, how does it help?
It works along the meridian lines, but it also works with just the power of the crystal. With a Lemurian crystal, you must be
very powerful.
It's very
the
powerful.
Vibration is so high.
It is, and if you're holding it, then you must always hold the point to you, unless you're using it on a person. If you're sensitive and you start waving it around, people around you will feel it. And I've done that before, and you can see somebody moving and you're thinking, what's that? So they are very powerful. And and if you linked at the moment to the meridians, but you just work with it, work with your instincts with it, put it where it needs to go, and just be guided by them. If you can meditate with them, they got ridges. And if you're meditating, you just put your thumb very gently along one of the ridge and try and work out what that ridge means. It will give you information.
So it helps to heal and it rebalances you?
It helps to heal, rebalances you, but it also reintegrates you back into the power and the spiritual and the energy.
Into the grid.
Into the grid, into that, but also it's about reviving the energies that the Lemurians and the Atlanteans had back into those energies.
Yeah, but so it's learning to also stand in your true power, your true I am.
Yeah, it is. Animal Reiki. You need to be able to see you work with the different animals, which is why I do it at Vauxhall City Farm. We have access to the animals and going to the pens, it's lovely. So I teach them the practical and then the theory, and then we can go out and do the practical.
What kind of animals do they have? Everything?
Most do.
Chickens?
They do. We're not allowed to go in the pig pen because they're a bit too boisterous. They have goats, llamas. They did have 2 cows. They do have horses, but we're not allowed to do the horses.
Can you do the llamas?
Yeah. Now the llamas are funny. They watch you. They're quite intelligent. They watch you from afar. And I think only about 1 or 2 have actually allowed us to in a couple of years I've been there. It's really quite interesting. But the most interesting ones are the ducks and the geese. They have conferences about us, and we could stand in their pen, and they're all in the corner, and then one comes out slowly and comes towards us. And I said, I think it's okay for you to heal them now. So they're funny. I mean, they do know we're there. They know we're coming. That's the other thing is about animals' consents. All know that we're coming. Yeah, because we had another budgery girl pushing another canary towards us.
Aww.
And say, no, this one. So, they help each other.
So can you touch these animals? Or
Yeah.
You just, really?
Oh, yeah, that's why I do it at the farm. We actually go into, and so you need to be able to work around them, see if they're going to come to you, because you must never force animals to come to you. And if they come to you, they'll come around to you for healing. Some are curious. One lady who was an empath said, oh, I'm really, really frightened. I need to get out. And I said, come out. And I said, why were you frightened? I don't know. So I said to her, who in there was worried? And she went, oh, God. I said, you're using your empathic power. He was frightened and worried, and you picked it up, right? And because you didn't recognise it, you took it on as yourself. So I had to work with that, and helped her to work around. She went, oh, okay. And then she went back in and she was fine. Yeah, they got chicken. Oh, the chickens love it.
Really?
One lady one helper went, I've never seen them so quiet. I said, that's because and when they go into roosting position, you really got them, because their heads sink down, so they're really receiving the energy, And some animals will actually come and take the energy from you, I've had a dog who used to come and lick my palm, and I thought, okay, I'll send you energy. So it's, as I said, communicating with animals can be quite different. You have to watch their body language as well.
Yeah.
As well as the telepathy and everything else. And yeah, if they don't want to be near you, they won't.
No, but do you have any last words of advice for people?
When you're guided, when you feel that you need to do something different, explore. And when you get there, allow it to happen. That's all.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.